No, it's called the Forgotten War. Most people don't know very much about the Korean War.
And why did you enlist?
Because if I hadn't enlisted, they would have drafted me and put me in the army. And I was afraid they'd put me in the medics and send me to Korea. I enlisted in the Air Force, and they put me in the medics and they sent me to Korea. Let's see, I flew from Japan to Korea, and they sent me to the wrong place down near Daegu, and then I had to catch another plane up to my base in K-55, which I think was Busan. One night we were driving from my base to another base because we didn't have medical facilities for serious things, and Korean soldiers came up. It was at night, and the Korean soldiers came up on both sides of the road. I didn't know if they were North Korean or South Korean, and I was riding shotgun, so I just told the driver, floor it. Well, I was not in a combat zone, so we didn't get a lot of wounds. The usual things that soldiers get. I mean, the only shot up people I saw were already dead. I don't think there was any one big fear. There was a constant worry of air raids, and we really didn't dwell on being afraid of things. In fact, the air raids became so common that they couldn't get us to go out and get in the sandbag revetments after a while.
There's a star-spangled banner waving somewhere in a distant land so many miles away. Only Uncle Sam's great heroes get to go there, where I wish that I could also live someday.
The other thing was flying from Japan to Korea, from Korea to Japan. The motor fell off the plane. That plane wouldn't fly on 3 engines, so that was pretty hairy.
One of the stories my dad used to tell us a lot when we were kids growing up was of this time he was flying from Korea to Japan on this old C-124 transport aircraft called Old Shaky, and how it almost crashed into the Sea of Japan because one of the engines fell off. And the part that sticks out to me the most is how he would describe that even though they had this risk of the plane crashing into the ocean, he wasn't scared until the crew chief who was coming through the plane handing out Mae West life jackets was obviously really scared. He was dripping with sweat. At that point, my dad figured if this guy, the sergeant, was scared, he better be scared too.
I was proud to have served. There were a lot of people who didn't serve that got out of it for one reason or the other. I felt it was my duty to serve my country. It didn't last long. It wasn't really called a war. It was a police action. The people were dying anyway. People were being killed. So it was really in all manner. It was a war.
Let me help to bring the X's down a page.
For now it's goodbye, Maria. I'm off to Korea, far across the sea. It's the same old story. It's up to Old Glory to win another fight for liberty. So keep the home fires burning.